5, 4, 3.
Welcome, sports fans, RoundTable family, to another exciting episode of the Sports RoundTable Trio Edition. I'm your host, Rowdy, of course, always joined by my co-hosts, Big Boy, and Little Bro Coop is back from wherever he was, Seattle, up in Canada, you could just say.
Pretty much.
Glad he's back. College football is here. NFL's 1 week away from tonight as we're recording this. Colorado is losing against North Dakota State as we're losing this. And I'm also in a fantasy draft, CMC #1 overall pick. But how are we doing?
Good. It's the moment we've been waiting for, boys.
It's here, boys. It's Christmas Eve. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Christmas Eve.
Just to be clear, this is not Kansas State. This is Liberty Hill. So I don't want people to get it wrong. I've heard some comments there. So
it's here. College football. NFL's almost there. This is going to be mainly college football focused tonight. We got a special guest joining us for the first time for season 2. He was on quite a bit with us in season 1. He knows his stuff, and it's going to be good. He'll be joining us in about 8 minutes. 8 minutes or so. We'll have some good questions for him, some good insight. But guys, what do we think about college football starting on this Thursday night? I mean, it really started last week, but
yeah,
full bam now.
Yeah. Well, we can just talk about really quick what's going on in real time right now with the Colorado game. The Shador is already cramping up, I guess.
Yeah, cramping up at home.
At home, second quarter.
Yeah, 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes left in the second quarter. He's already cramping up, man. How does that happen?
After they just got stuffed on a 4th and 1.
Yeah, and when he's played, it's been. I mean, he's thrown 2 long touchdowns. He probably has 150 yards.
Boy, that's the next quarterback at the Dallas Cowboys. So you better get used to it.
Man, if it is, I'm done. I'm telling you that. If they get rid of Dak, I'm done.
Get rid of Dak, Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
I'm done.
Deion Sanders, cornerback coach, come coach Deron Bland and those boys.
I take that. I take that, but I don't want his son playing quarterback, man. We need to see what Dak.
It's a package deal. It's a package deal.
It probably is, though. Hell, he might be the head coach. Jerry would love that.
Very, very possible.
And first auto pick of the night. How are you going to be 7th overall pick and be auto pick? Let's go.
Because you got things to do.
No, you know.
Yeah, not everyone's like a nerd.
He thinks he'll catch it on the way. Hey, because speaking of that, I did my first draft here. I got into the Colts here. I have a squad, boys.
Where'd you go? What pick did you have first?
I had 3rd pick, and I went Bijan.
You said Bijan 3rd pick, huh?
Yeah.
Bijan just went 6th in this one. Brees Hall went 3rd. Tyreek 4th.
Really?
Jamar Chase 5.
What's your team looking like, big boy? First of all, I'm proud of you for joining the fantasy thing because
I decided to become a nerd. Yeah. Okay, so I got Dak as a quarterback, Bijan, Alvin Kamara, Puka, Jalen Waddle, Sam Laporta, Drake London, Saints defense, Cameron Dicker is my kicker.
There you go.
On the bench, I got Calvin Ridley, Kyler Murray as a backup, Brock Bowers, Keon Coleman, J.K. Dobbins, Adam Thielen, and Blake Corum.
There you go, big boy. Let's give a round of applause for Big Boy on his first.
I ain't gonna lie, it was fun. It was fun.
I'm glad.
Well, we just had a quarterback taken with the 8th overall pick. What are we doing?
Who'd he take, Allen?
What?
Sco's wife took Josh Allen.
Oh, okay.
No, pick number 9, Mahomes. What are we doing?
Hey, that's honestly good for you though, because first pick, it's going back to you. You know, you'll get another skill player that's decent. You know.
Yeah, I hate #1 overall pick. If anyone actually cares and wants to listen to this far in the pod, give us what overall pick you would love, like your favorite overall pick in fantasy. Like if you're in fantasy draft, what is that pick you want? Like I do not want number 1. I'll take number like 4 or 5 all day. What about y'all?
Honestly, I'm a fan of the last pick because then you can get 2 in a row.
Yeah, but then it's still like number 1. You got to wait for forever.
No, you get 2 in a row. You get back to back. You can go a 1-2 punch.
Man,
I would say like 6.
Yeah, I mean, but realistically, I won my league last year off of the last pick. So,
I mean, Justin Jefferson fell to number 11 in this draft.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, like my other buddy told me, because I talked to your brother here, and he was like, "Get a running back first."
There's a lot more receivers that you could go get this year.
That's the thing. So far, first round's up just now. Only 3 running backs.
Oh, then you need to go hero running back.
All Bijan.
Yeah.
There was one guy in our draft. He drafted a lot of running backs.
Some people
I think like 6 or 7 of them.
And then they use it as like trade bait too.
Yeah.
Because they all start going off and they'll make you trade them for something.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson just went 12.
Who you draft him with? Freaking a bunch of hooligans?
This league's usually pretty good. I've been in this league since like 7th or 8th grade, probably every year. I'm definitely the youngest one, probably by like 15, 16 years. Here goes the running backs. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But Colorado
frauds, just like last year.
Listen, if North Dakota State scores here, that's a bad play.
Colorado is a bunch of frauds, man.
No, their defense.
They had what, the 3 weeks last year that they won and they did pretty decent. Other than that, nothing.
I hope their athletic department's got some type of plan for post Deion departure. Like they need season ticket holders signing like 5-year contracts where they have to be locked in with their money, because if not, they're losing that money.
Wow. Yeah.
They're making a lot of money though. He's brought a lot of money to that town, no matter what.
Yeah, that is true. It's kind of like the Cowboys. They suck, but they're bringing in money.
They suck, huh? Okay.
I'm joking, big boy.
It's okay.
I'm just playing around, man. I'm just playing around.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait till we win the Super Bowl.
I just push your buttons, and if you win, you can talk all the smack you want, big boy. Just think of all the smack you can talk if the Cowboys win.
Yeah.
But they won't. They won't.
True.
CD got a good. Hey,
we have them. I mean, we have them though. So
right.
Just know that.
I wasn't alive. But,
we've been to the promised land.
I wasn't alive.
Yeah. A lot of people weren't, but they were there.
No, but y'all did.
You weren't around for WW2, but we won that too. So let's go.
Y'all did sign.
Why you live the way you live.
Y'all signed CeeDee Lamb, the highest paid receiver. Second highest paid receiver, sorry.
Highest signing bonus.
So y'all got that done at least, which is good. Y'all kept him.
Brandon Ayuk finally got his deal. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Jeffter said that's been the same deal that's been on the table for the last 3 weeks now.
I think he never wanted to go because he could have gone other places and got more money. He knew what he was doing. And I get it because I want to win too. He just wanted to see if he could eke them out for a little more. They
didn't budge. The same thing last 3 weeks.
Hey, and they got to sign Trent too, and
freaking old Purdy. He's coming.
Yeah, but that's next year. They can worry about that later.
Who their dude? They have like 8 dudes over $15 million a year.
Well, now's the time. They got to win it this year, man. This year. Yeah.
You have to because they're gonna lose somebody.
Because you got to sign Trent. You have to. I mean. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot. Yeah, maybe the best to ever play the position.
Yeah, I agree. When is our guest coming in?
Should be any minute now.
Because I don't really know, if I want to start talking about something and then,
I'll give you
talk about it. What do you got?
Why isn't everyone going?
Well, I was going to talk about this Notre Dame A&M game. The college guest picker, I guess, I thought it was supposed to be a celebrity, but it's Johnny Manziel. So I guess.
How is he not a celebrity? What are you talking about?
A celebrity back in 2012, maybe, but now he's working at freaking McDonald's or something.
Bro, Johnny Manziel, you say whatever you want. That was an error that will never be forgot.
I know. I've been getting into it on social media with people because I thought it was a whole thing with, it's supposed to be a celebrity guest picker, but it's Johnny Manziel. So
Johnny Manziel was he'd be making $10 million a year right now at NIL.
Yeah.
Our guy, the Eric Henry. How's it going?
Oh man, what's going on, fellas? Forgive me for being a minute or two late, man. It's the first full slate of college football. So I'm watching this North Dakota State Colorado game.
Yeah.
I'm watching my alma mater UCF. So apologies for being a minute late, but always glad to hop on with y'all boys.
Yeah.
No problem, man.
Yeah, joining us, of course, from last football season, senior writer over at Horns 24/7, Eric Henry, covering all things UT. Obviously, football is here. UT starting off Saturday, 2:30 kick versus Colorado State. Saw Eric posted the other day. He didn't even know what time the game was. Yeah, he didn't even know what time the game was.
Yo, fellas, here's what y'all got to understand. And first off, Rowdy, dude, I haven't had a chance to catch up with you since your engagement. Congrats on the engagement.
Appreciate it. Bro,
I'm gonna be at the stadium regardless. Like that thing could kick off at midnight. I'm gonna be there, right? So it's one of those things where I'm like, I probably should know off the top of my head what time the game starts. But it's like I'm gonna be there regardless. It can start at 8 a.m. I'm gonna be there.
Right.
So.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you joining us.
For sure.
Busy times ahead. Got a fantasy draft going right now. Pick number 1. It's back around to me. It's tough slate being pick number 1. We were talking about it before we get going. You a big fantasy guy? You play fantasy?
Bro, you know what's funny is like I'm big in terms of with my boys. I'm in leagues with my boys from college family. So yeah, I'm probably usually like per year, like 3 or 4 leagues I'm in between family and friends and whatnot.
There you go.
Okay, if you had to pick the best spot position to be in the draft, what slot would you pick?
This is a kind of a controversial take, but if it's a snake draft, I love getting that last. I love the back-to-back picks. I have never gone wrong. You know what's funny is I've actually, in my opinion, had worse drafts picking first than I have with that snake draft going like, let's just say 8th pick, and it comes back to you get that first pick. Whenever I go back-to-back, I'm always in good shape. So I'm that's kind of a hot take, but I love getting that like later pick and you get that snake draft.
That's what Coop said too. He wants that last pick.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I hate the first pick, obviously CMC, but then I just had to wait a million years to draft again. But then
What'd you get?
Back to back. I had to go Kenneth Walker and then Nico Collins back to back there. End of round 2, start round 3.
So you got CMC, Kenneth Walker, and Nico. All right.
We'll get the brighter things ahead. We got the logo behind Big Boy locked in. We'll throw it over to Coop, get us kind of started off with the whole Eric.
Yeah. So looking into the season, it's the start of the SEC. How is the running back situation looking? Obviously, CJ Baxter, that's a big loss. But, what have you seen from Jaden Blue and Trey Wisner that makes you feel comfortable with our running back room heading into the SEC?
Let's start with JB. The fact that you're talking about a guy as a home run threat at any time he touches the ball, that automatically gives you positive kind of, momentum. And then also, guys, you take a look at the fact that he had something like 50, 60 carries last year. And the fact that this staff, whether it's Tashard Choice, Steve Sarkisian, Kyle Flood, really raved about him the way they did entering this year, just goes to show you that even though in a limited sample size, the level of confidence they have in him. Now, Trey Wisner is another guy. When I talked with Tashard Choice, this was at the Sugar Bowl, and he was huge on saying, Trey Wisner is a kid who can do everything. It's just a matter of him staying healthy and having the opportunity. Obviously, we saw what he did on special teams last year. I think he's going to be, in terms of this rotation, I think he's going to share snaps with Jarrett Gibson. Christian Clark is a guy who probably, while it was a tough loss, he wasn't going to play if all things were the same and CJ Baxter was healthy. He wasn't going to play a ton. Christian Clark's playing time was going to come by virtue of, CJ Baxter's injury. Jarrett Gibson's a guy who I thought had a defined role in this offense because of his size, right? Now that just enhances given the injuries there. So running back position, in my mind, you still feel good about it. Where I am curious to see how things shake out is in pass protection, because pass pro is something that you can't just wake up and do. Like you got to get experience doing it. And secondly, I wrote about this for the site. Texas used 4 and 5 running backs last year, right? In terms of getting carries. Who's going to fill out those 4th and 5th string carries? Most of those carries did come in games that were already decided, but look at a guy like Keelan Robinson who had a defined role, right? Who's going to be that guy who, comes as a 3rd down back, as a pass catching back? Is that a Belton Gardner, right? Is that Trey Wisner? We'll see. I'll give you something to keep an eye on. Silas Bolden, I think he's a guy who would come in and kind of fill that Keelan role from last year. How many times do you see Keelan kind of line up in the backfield and split out as a receiver? I think that's a role that Silas Bolden could fill. But all in all, the running back room is still in good shape. You just obviously can't afford to lose any more guys.
Right, for sure. And sticking on the offense, last year Sark and the offense really struggled with scoring touchdowns in the red zone. How do you think they can change that? And who do you think the top target will be when it gets down there towards the red zone area?
Couple things. One, have a defined identity. In my opinion, in my experience, the teams that do best in the red zone, specifically in goal line, they know what they want to do when they get in the red area. How many times last year? It started out with Savion Red, right? You had kind of the Savion Red Wildcat package. Then that went to, okay, we had some success with Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy in the heavy package. Then we saw what happened against Oklahoma. You get the 4 tries down there in the goal line. You go 3 times with that heavy package, fail each time, and then you want to spread it out, right? For me, I think you need to have a defined identity down there. And I'm not trying to sound, being Monday morning quarterback or try to be smarter than Steve Sarkisian, but let's just call a spade, guys. You can't line up on the goal line or in red zone area, red zone situations with a full, heavy package. So you got Malik Agbo as your 3rd tight end. And then you want to put Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy back there. No running back can run. There's no room. There's no hole. There's no space. You got too much beef back there. You don't have an area to find a seam to get in the end zone, right? So I want to see a defined package, a defined understanding of what you're going to do. And then also, last but not least, you asked me who I think is a player to keep an eye on. I'll give you 2. Juan Davis and Amari Niblack. I think Juan Davis, given his high school experience as a quarterback, is a guy who could have some run in that Wildcat role. It's kind of that bigger back. You just snap it to him and let him do his thing. And then Amari Niblack. Steve Sarkisian even talked about him, as did Quinn Ewers on Monday when we had the availability of him being a guy in the red zone that they're targeting. So I do think they'll be better, but you have to have a defined identity. And this is something that you guys know, being, lifetime Longhorn fans. This isn't just a one-year thing. Texas struggled in short yardage in 2022 as well, right? So they need to get out to a good start and really kind of build some of that positive momentum.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed. Again, joining us is Eric Henry, senior writer over at Horns 24/7. Coming off a year where UT was ranked in the hundreds in pass defense in the nation. These guys don't agree with me, but I believe losing Terrence Brooks is a huge deal. I think the safety position is much improved, but what confidence can you give me that our cornerback position has improved the same this offseason?
Big boy, I hate to sound like I'm giving you the coach's cliche answer, but I do think there's a measure of truth in it, right? When we talked with PK, defense corner Pete Kutowski, we talked with him the one time we get coordinators, which is the first day of camp. PK said that by his research, it all depends on what metric you're using. Texas had seen the 3rd highest amount of passes attempted against them in FBS football. I have it as 5th. Again, it all depends on what metric you're using. The thing is, a lot of the passing yards that Texas gave up, 2 things. One, teams figured out pretty early you can't run on Sweat and Murphy. So we're going to throw, right? I think the classic example of that is the Iowa State game. Look no further than that game. I think they ran for something like, 19 attempts, 13 yards, something to that effect. But Rocco Becht had a big-time game, right? I mean, some of those passing yards were inflated. The second thing is they had a lot of missed tackles. Pro Football Focus ranks Jaron Thompson and Keaton Crawford as the worst 2 tacklers on the team of any full-time starters, right? So I think that played a factor in how many passing yards you allowed. Now, to your question specifically about Terrence Brooks and the cornerbacks, I was a Terrence Brooks guy. I thought Terrence Brooks was a little bit undervalued. I mean, a guy who maybe he's not, and forgive me for being prisoner of the moment because I just was watching the Colorado game. Maybe he's never a Travis Hunter at cornerback, right? But he's a solid Big 12, solid SEC starter at cornerback. you usher in Manny Muhammad to be that number one guy, right? And we do think he's primed for a big time year. I will say this in terms of giving you hope. Gavin Holmes played really well last year. Now, he was the third, fourth cornerback in the rotation, so you probably didn't see a ton of him, but go back to his time at Wake Forest. He played well when he had increased snaps. I do like the combination of Manny Muhammad, Gavin Holmes, Javion Cole coming in. But specifically to your question is why do I think, or to give you hope, why this group will be better? A, they got to tackle better. B, I think they understand. And I think, most fans who saw this, some of the coverages, in my mind, didn't lend themselves well to really being able to defend the pass, especially when Texas got out to leads. I'm not saying they were playing soft coverage, but it did feel to me like they kind of let their foot off the gas as far as defensively doing what you did to put you in that position and then kind of playing soft. So I think it's a combination of a multitude of things why that pass defense will be better in 2024.
Yeah, I get it. Sticking with the defense, can you give us any insight on how the transfers Lole, Norton, and Savea are meshing with Collins and Broughton, and how we're going to look up there in the D tackle position?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was not impressed with Tia Savea in the spring. Now granted, again, we only see, whatever Sark allows us to see, right? So there is that. But there were some times in the spring game where it looked to me like Tia Savea was just a guy out there. And it's always tough from our vantage point to assess line play, especially defensive line play, because some of this stuff is assignment football, right? Like you're playing a gap, you're playing a specific scheme. It's not necessarily requiring you to go out there and be the guy who's a game record and make the tackle. But I feel comfortable saying I don't think Steve Sarkisian comes out to end of spring and says, hey, we need more big humans at defensive tackle if he's happy with what he had entering spring, right? To your question about Norton and Lole, I don't know, Big Boy, if you've seen him. I don't know if you were at I guess both those guys came after spring, so you wouldn't have seen him at any point, but they are massive. Like, those are big boys. I do think they're going to play a big factor in helping the run defense. You have seen a fair amount of Bill Norton and Savea together, which makes sense. Of course, those two guys played together at Arizona, right? So, when they've run them in groups, you have seen a lot of Vern Broughton, AC, Norton and Savea, and then Lole kind of meshed in with the other guys. So to answer the question as far as defensive tackle, I think it's going to be a money ball approach. I think it's going to be a sum of all parts as far as how they'll replace Sweat and Murphy. I think you got to feel good about AC and Broughton. Still kind of a wait and see approach, but I feel a lot better with the additions than I would have pre-spring, because let's call a spade a spade. Sadir Mitchell, Jere Bledsoe, Aaron Bryant, etc. Those guys had their opportunity, and for whatever reason or another, they didn't capitalize.
Well, kind of going back to the other side of the ball on the offensive side, obviously it's been big talk about the wide receivers that departed, wide receivers that came in, how Sark really trusts 6, now 7 guys, including Ryan Niblett. How do you think, or kind of what wide receiver do you think really ends up with the most yards at the end of the season? And then kind of like how many touchdowns do you think that is, and from who?
Yeah. Let's run through it, right? So we talked about this on the flagship. I think Silas Bolden leads this team in receptions. I think Isaiah Bond leads the team in yards, and I think Amari Niblack leads the team in touchdowns. But in terms of the wide receiver rotation, Chip asked Sark if he believes that he can run this thing in groups, right? Where you're shuffling in 3 and 4 receivers at a time. And Sark immediately said, yeah, we can. There's kind of some debate as far as who those, starting guys will be. I wouldn't harp too much on who are the starters. This is the way I kind of described it, right? This is the kind of example I've used for people. Let's take a game last year in which you run 65 offensive plays. Last year, Xavier Worthy would have played out of those 65 mid-50s, high 50s. Adonai Mitchell would have played 50. Jordan Whittington would have played high 40s. This year, you're not going to see that. If it's a 65-play offensive game, I think you're going to see Isaiah Bond, Silas Bolden, Matt Golden play in the 30s, high 30s. And then you're going to see Wingo and DeAndre Moore and Jonte Cook also play in the high 20s and 30s as well. So it's not necessarily going to be a matter of starters as much as it is kind of situationally how they feel they can use those guys. But listen, if you see Silas Bolden, and I guess I should say when you guys see Silas Bolden on Saturday, be prepared for something special. I've told everyone who will listen, watch his Oregon State film. It is a guy who cannot be touched when he gets off the line. People like to point to his size and say he's only 5'8", $165. You can't touch him, right? Like you cannot jam him. You cannot press him. He is a guy who, and especially in Steve Sarkisian's offense, I think they'll find ways to shift him around the offensive formation to where that guy is always open.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. I read the old Chips Insider today, and kind of on the wide receivers, everyone's kind of expecting to be out. Obviously, Isaiah Bowen, the big name, but then like to see the two dudes who have been there came out of high school, and DeAndre Moore and obviously Jonte Cook. So good for them to be able to do it. But I mean, imagine those rotations; those three go in, they come out, and then you got the next three coming in. I mean, it could definitely
wear some cornerbacks down. Yeah,
it could be a deadly weapon if it's ran right, and all those dudes play how they should play and they play how they know how to play there. But yeah, it's definitely big. And kind of last little question that we have before we kind of round it out, we're going to do a little true false segment to kind of close it out with you here. But going back to the defense side, obviously linebackers, and obviously you have the Prize and Hill, but then you have a different presence in that room. Obviously you got your two, Benda and Blackwell, the older dudes, but then you got Lyona, some younger guys over there. How do you kind of see that linebacker room playing out with Ant Hill this year?
I think, and even though, no one will come out outright say this, I think the ideal scenario, if you were in a private moment, if you were inside the walls at Moncrief, would be some form of Anthony Hill and Leonga Lafau as your two linebackers, right? I think that's the ideal circumstance. It doesn't have to start that way. Remember last year, Anthony Hill didn't start, right? It was David Benda. It was right after the Oklahoma game, I think, when Anthony Hill became a full-time starter. I could see that being the scenario. What I am interested to see is Lafau's natural position as Mike, right? Now, A. Hill has come out and been like, hey, I was a Mike linebacker in high school. PK, that's why they're lined up at Mike. How that shakes out, I think it remains to be seen, but it's a win-win in my mind, whether that's A. Hill at the Mike and Lafau, given his pass coverage skills, kind of being an off-ball linebacker, or let's say, okay, Lafau has progressed enough in practice to where you feel comfortable making him the Mike. You know what you have in Anthony Hill as an off-ball linebacker, a guy who full-time is going to give you double-digit sacks, a guy's going to give you double-digit tackles for loss, so you can easily shift him back off ball if that's the case. But yeah, I do think at some point this year, especially, it's so easy, I would say, against Colorado State, who's going to, it's an air raid offense. So you're not going to see a lot of three linebackers come Saturday. Against a Louisiana Monroe, a team that's going to spread you out a little bit, you're not going to see a lot of three linebackers. In those nickel situations, those two linebacker situations, it's so easy to just put Lafau and Hill out there as is. I think that's going to be the natural progression to where maybe mid-season or late season, that ends up being your linebacker duo, your linebacker unit.
I like it.
Big Lafau fan, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Big boy likes his Lafau, but
like my Hawaiians.
We'll go over to the true false. Big boy, if you kind of want to start off with your two that you got. Eric's really just going to be nice, simple, true false. We kind of just want to hear what your thoughts are on it. So
okay,
whatever y'all got, looking forward to it.
All right, true or false? If Jahdae Barron stays healthy, we'll have another Thorpe finalist at UT.
Sure,
I agree. True or false? I think this one might be false for you because you kind of said you like Ant Hill, but Ethan Burke will lead the team in sacks.
False. Trey Moore will lead the team in sacks.
Think so? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got one for you. True or false? Quinn Ewers will be in New York at the Heisman ceremony.
True.
Okay.
Yeah, another one, Coop?
No, I only wrote one.
Shocker.
I got one. That was the one I got.
All right, I got a team-related one and a player-related one. Kind of team, but the loser of the Texas-Georgia regular season game is the winner of the SEC championship when it comes down to it.
That's a good one.
Is the winner of the SEC championship.
Yep.
False. I'm going to say false. Even though I took some heat from a couple Georgia sites who, acted like I committed a cardinal sin when I said that Quinn Ewers is the best quarterback in the conference. I do think Georgia comes in and beats Texas. The two losses I have Texas losing to Georgia, losing to Kentucky. With that being said, yeah, it's tough. Oof. Because that would mean I think it's a Georgia-Texas SEC title game.
It's hard to beat a team twice.
And it's hard. Well. It is hard to beat a team twice. But no, I do not see the loser of that game coming back and win the SEC title.
Okay. Like it. Well, and real quick before the last one, I will say, reading all y'all's over at Horns 24/7, all the record predictions, it was either like 11-1 or 10-2, but there was a common theme loss in there was Kentucky, and I just want to know what, like, just the little breakdown on like what that reason really is.
Go look at Mike Stoops' team. They are a veteran team returning a lot of pieces. Deion Walker is a top 10 NFL pick in next year's NFL draft, a game record inside. At the one area of Texas's offensive line, no disrespect to Jake Majors, DJ Campbell, Hayden Connor, right? But I think you feel safe in saying the strength of Texas's line is at the tackles, in my opinion. And again, that's no disrespect to Jake and DJ, who DJ I think is going to be a road grader. I think Jake is one of the most underrated offensive linemen in the nation. But Deion Walker's a game wrecker, and you have him back, a ton of talent returning on defense. And I think Brock Vandagriff is a guy who a lot of people don't start at Georgia, but he can go to Kentucky and be a solid SEC starter. They're going to depend on him and DeMonte Traynham. If things shake out with those two, quarterback, running back, they got Jamari Macklin from North Texas. They got a ton of pieces. They return a lot of talent. And again, it's a unique spot in the schedule where you're coming from the Arkansas game. That one's going to be emotional, old rivalry, right? And it's sandwiched in between the Texas A&M game. And the way Mark Stoops' teams come in, physical, going to run the football, that, at least for me, is why I think Kentucky gets out with a win.
All right. I like it. No, I think that the schedule, lines up good, but there is some of those matchups where it's like the week after a big game, like they play something like, obviously, like the Georgia game being right after that OU game. Like, right. I mean, there's just some of those that don't really mesh up too well. But last kind of true or false, got a little two-parter. Does Jaden Blue end up with 1,200 yards on the ground? And the second part is he a top 2 running back off the board when the NFL draft comes around?
I'm going to say false on the latter. This is a pretty solid running back. I mean, you got Omari Hampton from North Carolina. You got Ollie Gordon. Yeah, he's all eligible guys. Ollie Gordon's eligible. Ashton Genty from Boise State, who ran for like 400 yards, is eligible. I think there's another running back I'm missing too there, a guy who was draft eligible this year. So no, that's another one. Yeah. So no, I don't think Jaden Blue is a top 2 running back off the board. If you'd asked me about the 1,200 prior to the year, I would have said no way. Having a split carries. 1,200. I'm going to say no, but I don't think he'll be far off. The reason I hesitate is Steve wants to be balanced. He's emphasized that. They're going to run the football. I don't think he's going to hesitate to give Trey Wisner and Jarrett Gibson carries. Well, hang on. Let me say this, Robbie. It is the exception. Regular season or at the end of the year? Because Texas, if I have them playing the SEC title game and then playing a college football playoff, is a lot more games, right? so that's the caveat. If we're talking about
a lot of games,
regular season, 12-game regular season, I don't think he gets 1,200. But I do think this is a team that makes the SEC title game, and I think they're going to make the college football playoff. So that could probably get them to north of 1,200.
For sure. Pump for that 12-team playoff. Obviously we've been, don't know about you, but me and Coop run it up on that NCAA EA Sports Dynasty mode with the 12-team playoff all the time now. Big boy, not so much. We won't talk about his embarrassing game, but
it's not 1997 anymore. I can't play that game. It's too much for me, man.
The 12-team playoff, we're definitely looking forward to it, Eric, but we appreciate you coming on this week, man, with us. Definitely hope to have you on some other times later on this season. Long season ahead, like you mentioned. A lot of new games that could definitely be added on at the end of that schedule. So, but we appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, man, y'all are family. Anytime y'all need me,
thanks a lot, Eric.
And I'll come on.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Anytime.
All right. That was the man over from Horns 24/7. Eric Henry, our guy from season 1, going to be our guy again in season 2. That was good, man. kind of like that little true.
He's definitely our most regular guest.
That was off the top of the brain. Oh yeah, he's the most regular guest.
Yeah, we can tell you were like, oh,
no, because I had it in my head. And then my fantasy pick came up. So I drafted, and then whenever I was coming after he was done, I was like, oh shit, what was it?
Oh, there we go. Demonetized. See, I've been trying to tell you, man. You just said a bad word.
I said the S word. They're not going to deduct the whatever for that.
Who'd you
they're
pick?
honest.
Who'd you pick?
YouTube is
the quarterback
right
started
now,
going right after I picked. I'm pissed.
YouTube.
Right now I got Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Dalton Kincaid tight end.
You're losing.
Whatever. Freaking Dak was the third quarterback taken off the board.
Yeah. He was second in MVP voting.
Wait, Jalen Hurts hasn't even gone yet? Oh, yeah, he did. It was Dak, then Jalen Hurts, then CJ, then Lamar, then Joe, then Love, then Brock Purdy just went.
I want to hear some of y'all's thoughts on the this college game day game, Notre Dame at A&M. Last week, this game was a pick'em, which means you just pick one to win. It got bumped up to +3 after starting left tackle from Notre Dame got called out for the rest of the season. Notre Dame's offensive coordinator was previously at LSU. I don't know if y'all know that, but very explosive offense. I don't think Mike Elko gets it done. I'm going to go Notre Dame +3 at Kyle Field. That's my pick of the week. What do y'all think about that game?
I like A&M. I think A&M, if they stay healthy, could make a run in the SEC to win it. I think they're so talented, and there's sometimes just the change of the guard, can really help. And I'm pretty high on A&M, unfortunately.
I was going to ask, are you just saying that because you're kind of scared about our game with them?
No, I think the talent is there. I've been saying that for 3 years.
The talent's always been there.
But their quarterback gets hurt every year. Really hurt. Sometimes two of them. So
and their running backs out too, but
yeah, and now their running backs out. But I really think that Connor is good, and I think. Okay. I mean, look what he did the first 4 or 5 games last year. He was tops. So
I respect that, big boy. I respect that.
Yeah, I think their defense is going to be good. I think they're not deep though. I think, if they have a couple injuries, I don't know if they can, come back from that. But
right.
I'm out real fast. I got to pick a wide receiver. Y'all tell me what wide receiver we're going. We got T. Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Tyler McLaren from Washington, Chris Godwin, Marquise Brown, Zay Flowers.
Oof. You are toasted, brother.
Marquise Brown, maybe.
Who's your other running back you have? Or wide receiver, I meant.
I have Nico Collins and Malik Neighbors. Hey.
Yeah,
I would go
Daniel Jones throwing him the ball. He might have 12 receptions.
I would go T. Higgins out of all those. But
you think T. Higgins?
Yeah.
No.
Out of what he said?
Who was after T. Higgins? I can't remember.
Deontay Johnson from Carolina. Number 1 in Carolina. You have 16 seconds. Oh my God.
Do it, Carolina.
Yeah.
Do it. Whatever. I don't care. It's not my team.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the only quarterbacks left is like Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray, Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, Herbert, Caleb Williams, Tua, Aaron Rodgers, Mayfield. Like all those quarterbacks are the same. So I'm not going to take a quarterback anytime soon now. No.
Right.
Point. No.
Can you tell me your thoughts on this A&M game, please?
As much as it hurts me to say, and because the rankings are so far off, Notre Dame always gets the preseason hype. And it does hurt to say, I don't think Notre Dame's going to win. I think.
I'm the only picking Notre Dame +3 here.
No, there's a reason why, bro. It's like 7 versus 20, and Notre Dame's not favored. Like, I know it's at College Station.
That Kyle Field.
but it's at Kyle Field. But still, they have a new head coach. They're starting running backs out for the year. I know their quarterback's back, who I think he's pretty good. So, I think A&M. I think Notre Dame doesn't have too many dudes coming back for a reason, and the dudes that they're hurt, like you said. It hurts to say because A&M fans are going to act like it's some big top 10 win, which I know they're ranked number 7.
It is the top 10 win.
Yeah, I know they're ranked number 7, but they won't be ranked in the top 10 the rest of the year. So it's not like Notre Dame's coming back, I don't think. So
hey, you got to play who's in front of you.
Whatever. But I think A&M will pull it out. If at Kyle Field, if not, I feel like that's a tough loss against Notre Dame, who's dwindled down.
If Notre Dame goes over there and win, their path to the playoff got a lot easier.
100%, for sure. Yeah. That is a good point. I didn't think about that. That is a really good point. If they do win that game, that they're smooth sailing to the college football playoff. That is true.
Yeah.
Wow. That makes me like him even more, actually, big boy. Thank you.
No problem.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, what about this other big game? Clemson at Georgia minus 11 and a half or something?
11 and a half.
Yeah, I will say this real quick. I didn't realize how far back, like, I guess it's kind of like a rivalry because, like, it's like, I didn't realize how far back they played. Like, this game goes, like, way back. But I think Georgia, I think they beat the dog crap out of them. I really do.
I think yeah. Go ahead.
I really think they beat them by 14 points, at least at Georgia. So
I think Kirby for whatever 10 months, not however months it's been since they didn't get in the playoff.
That's another thing.
Been just they don't you got to go out there and leave no doubt. And they are so talented, it's going to be tough for anybody.
And they're the team to go out and they'll just pound it, and it don't matter what the score is, whatever. They're going to freaking go out.
We've lost one game in 2 years, and we're back-to-back champion. I mean,
yeah,
he has those kids ready to kill somebody, and I feel bad for Clemson because they're about to unleash it on them.
It's at Georgia too, so
yeah, it's.
I think
Georgia's going to be very tough this year.
I think so too.
No.
Cade, what do you think?
Where did we talk about? We talked about that the other day a little bit. I think it's the same way. Clemson. Cade Klubnik's probably last year, you would think, at Clemson, maybe. But it's just the thing, like, Dabo just hasn't changed to the new way of college football. Feel like you can't go and compete with a lot of teams in the SEC with not going after the portal or using NIL like it should be in today's day and age, and especially Georgia, who does the exact opposite. Georgia and Oregon up there like that. So I think, like you said, Georgia, they've had all offseason like to prepare for this game alone. Because I'm sure they have I don't even know who they have in week 2, but I'm sure it's a cakewalk because it's the SEC. They only play one good non-conference, if that. But I don't think Clemson has a shot. Like you said, like Big Boy said, Georgia, they're not going down. They're not going downhill anytime soon.
They're a very talented team that is very good and big and mean, and they're pissed off. It's going to be hard they want to leave no doubt with every single game this year. And Kirby's going to have that all year to say. You just remember, we can't slip up once, even though, it's different deal this year. But he's gonna he doesn't play, man. He's a great coach. I love him.
Oh, he's good. But yeah, they're fired up. And like you said, they're not gonna slip up. They're not gonna be like because they had what? They lost once in 2 years and then they didn't make it, So
and your quarterback is, it's his third year. It's legit.
For sure. What else? What other games are there? There's
USC, LSU.
Sunday night action in Vegas.
It's LSU. It's at LSU. I think what's the line on it? It's like I think it's LSU minus 4.5. I'll take LSU in that game too, as well.
Yeah, I like LSU. I mean, we'll see what USC is. It's gonna be a lot different
The
for
different USC
Lincoln.
for sure.
Yeah, and now that they're in the Big Ten, man, it's we're gonna see really what Lincoln's about, man. To me, he left, Oklahoma for a reason, and that was not to play, the SEC. In my personal opinion, I mean, plus he gets to live in LA instead of, but still, he had something going there at OU, man. I mean,
yeah. Do you think when the conference games start up, do you think USC's like offense is going to change at all, or do you think they're still going to be spreading it out and throwing it around? Because the Big Ten offense, it's boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, but that might be the difference that makes them great, because you're not used to seeing it every week. Just like, back in the day in the SEC, like,
yeah.
It was, if a team came in that was really good at running like Colt was, and then he gets hurt, I mean, it would have been a different story. But we can sit here and say that till the cows come home. But I still think USC, are they going to even have a decent defense? I mean,
both teams, new quarterback.
They got a lot of the coordinators, they said, from UCLA, and UCLA had a pretty decent defense last year.
Yeah.
So, and they got some guys from there too. So
new quarterback. I saw a thing on Twitter that I kind of agreed with the other day. It was talking about LSU. I think they're kind of a little bit overhyped.
LSU got some talent.
They got the O-line, but like they didn't do anything to fix the edge. Quarterback, like, yeah, he's got a name, but he's unproven, dude. Yeah. Like, so they don't think their defense is going to be too stout either. So maybe a high school.
They got the best linebacker in the nation.
Yeah.
So
you can't do everything.
No, he can't. You're right.
Because he's a good pass rusher, but that's the problem. Their edge sucks, so they need the pass rush, but then leave the middle of the field open.
Don't have anyone. Yeah.
But who knows? In USC, I mean, they lost some dudes, but then Lincoln's. We'll really see if Lincoln can really develop a quarterback like the dude he has now. So
I think it's been proven Lincoln can. He's had what? 3 Heisman Trophy winners in the past 6-7 years.
But besides Baker, they've always been like top guys. Besides Baker. Like coming out of high school. So
most guys that win the Heisman are top guys when they come out of high school.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't like OU, but you can't deny what Lincoln's done. Yeah. He had Kyler, he had Baker, and he had Hurts, and he had Caleb.
Yeah. So forgot about Hurts too.
Yeah,
and he did recruit the number 1 quarterback at the time to USC, that Malachi Nelson.
And he didn't even get the job at Boise State.
I know. He didn't even get the job at Boise.
That's wild.
Dude, that's what an NCAA dynasty right there. When you see a quarterback 5-star, but it's got that broken red gym, that's him. That's him. You can't go after the
broken red gym.
You can't go after that.
Listen, and he went to Boise. So
yeah,
you should have just stayed. I don't know.
That's wild.
That's that hurts the old ego right there, man.
Oh yeah. And
the kid, I think they beat him out. Isn't he a sophomore?
Yes, I believe so.
So you got to go somewhere else now.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
Needs to go to Iowa.
Oh shit.
Did y'all see that? Hold on. We got to talk about.
I think something on that is.
There's no way.
No.
We need Kobe in here, but
what?
About how it was like, what was the number, big boy? It was like
96% of the money or something was on them to go to the playoffs.
Go to the playoffs. That's crazy.
Well, because their track's easy to the Big Ten championship. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they get.
Is it this year though? I don't know how it is this year as far as who else is in their conference.
Their schedule's pretty cake
on their side or whatever. Are they doing sides or are they just doing
it's just all
best?
Oh, I thought there was.
Dude, we're in the Big Ten and Dynasty, bro. Come on. How do you not know that?
I thought it was.
That's why me and you run into each other every year. So they go top to bottom.
Gotcha.
Relax.
Hey, big boy, ask Cade how many national championships he's won in our dynasty. Go ahead.
Sounds like 0.
0, and then ask him how many I've won.
3.
I'm working on number 3. I've gotten 2 in a row though. 2 Pete.
Wow.
So
who's your team?
I just drafted.
I got Penn State now. I went to Penn State.
Who's he with?
He's at
Purdue. I'm trying to turn Purdue around.
Okay, you've had 4 years there. They're all your guys. You have no excuses.
That's why we're good.
No, yeah, okay.
You can't tell me when I started, my line cannot even touch your Penn State dudes. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, but it still doesn't matter.
Well, maybe you should have done a better job in coaching and gone to Ohio State.
Exactly. It's not my fault that I got the coaching job at Penn State. Yeah. I won Coach of the Year at Louisiana Raging Cajuns. So that's just how it is.
Sounds like Coop's putting in work.
I am. That's right.
Man, my fantasy team's either going to be good or we're going to suck.
No, you're probably
I'd say suck because
first pick, bro.
First pick's rough. It's a rough one.
CMC has to carry me 25 points a game. Jared, this is
starting. Are you not scared CMC is going to get hurt this year in fantasy?
Oh, I'm going to draft his backup last round. I already got him in the queue, so I don't forget.
Yeah, that's smart because it's very likely he gets hurt this year, by the way.
Thanks.
What about Miami versus Florida?
That's a good one. That's Billy Napier's either. I mean, he's already kind of on the hot seat, but that game.
It's at Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's in the swamp.
At the swamp. I'm not high on Florida. Ever since they lost me my 3-leg parlay last year, I'm not high on them, so I'll take Miami.
Everyone's been saying how Florida is going to do good and this and that. I mean,
they have a hard schedule.
They hear that. They have a very hard schedule.
One of the hardest, I think, actually.
But this is the first game of the season. So,
true.
We don't have to worry about all that.
But it's also Florida, Miami. It's like.
Yeah. It's going to be, man, back in the day, those games, Florida State and Florida.
Yeah.
Taking defenses and kickers round 9.
We don't even have Cade at this point.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Might as well cut this.
We've already said they suck.
Who?
Florida. They don't they got the quarterback. Is he starting, the freshman? I'm about to look it up.
No.
I don't know if he's starting. Florida Gators depth chart. Because he's from where's he from in Dallas? DJ Lagway. Is he starting? No. Second string. Oh, they got a Wisconsin transfer. That Graham Mertz. He's their starter.
For now.
Yeah.
Because as it gets towards the end of the season, if they end up kind of falling off, that's Billy Napier's only thing. Like, look, I got my quarterback. Hopefully he comes in, does good. But
here's his form. 4, 3, 4.
I think 4.
That's the thing too. Is Miami's the overhyped machine too. Like the last 2 years, they're supposed to.
That's what I think too.
They're supposed to be really good the last 2 years. They're supposed to be good this year.
We'll see. Because they did. They're highly ranked, a lot higher than I thought they were going to be. So
yeah.
And they're talking about them going to the playoff, and which they still can because. But I mean, there's some people have them like his number 3 or 4 team, getting the first round bye and all that. So this is gonna be awesome.
I know. I can't wait.
Have a real playoff in college football.
I can't wait. And hey, it starts.
Makes the conference championships games that much more important. Anyone can make that thing, and anyone can win and get a first round bye.
Yeah.
Texas Tech get a damn first round bye.
Stop it.
Did you see Texas Tech's new field?
That is something sick.
That looks clean. Yeah.
That's something sick.
It's horrible.
I know they sold those for some.
Your degree is gonna say Texas Tech on it, so you might as well,
I don't know about that. I have some news here, and hopefully we'll see. Yeah, but
no news.
We'll see. Hopefully soon. No, it is cool. They worked on it all last year, though. It was all.
Was it?
No, yeah, it was all.
It looks clean. What do they have up there? Are those boxes, or is that the weight room? And
no, it's like rich people place.
Yeah.
Hey,
Kind of like Texas, what Texas did.
You see what Texas is doing? We should ask Eric his thoughts.
On the outside?
No, well, the outside,
Yeah.
but starting going into next year, they're gonna change, or maybe even starting this season, they're changing where the media goes. They're moving the media to like the end zone.
Oh, I saw that.
They don't get this like sideline view anymore. They're in the end zone now, and they're taking it off the whole media room and making it into 10 rooms. How much money do you think it costs for each suite little room
For a season?
Hey, and they're not even having to build anything new. I'm sure they're upgrading a little bit, but all the space is already there. They're just taking out the media. Yeah.
For a season? How much?
No, just for you to be able to have
For one game?
how suites of that stuff work. Just being around here, it's like there's a buy-in price that you got to pay, like a get-in price, and then you have like your ticket and like extra donation costs that come with it. Like, what do you think the get-in price to have the suite for forever? I mean, it's for as long as you want to have it. But what do you think that get-in price is?
Oh, at least $1 million.
All right.
3, 5, 10?
10 million.
Oh,
And they already sold all 10.
in a heartbeat.
100 million, just like that.
So I pay 10 million to get in, but then every season I have to still donate another 500,000 to get my.
Yeah, it won't be the 500K, but I mean, it's going to be it's probably going to be around 10, 15K. Yeah. Because like OUs, like they're to be able to get like a suite, because they have like the club access and the suite.
Yeah.
Getting a club for like to be able to have 4 good seats in a club, it's like get-in price is like 250 grand is what you have to pay. The suites, probably close to $1 million, probably.
10 mil. Just to drop it.
Drop on a suite.
And it wasn't like they didn't make nothing new. Like literally, they're just using the media space.
CDC, man.
They have the 10 rooms.
He's the best. CDC is awesome. Hope he never leaves. Hope he retires here.
But we'll close it out each week. Score prediction. We may be bringing back. I know last year we did our special picks. That was a lot of games. We may cut it down a little bit this year. Do like the top 10 matchups or something. We'll figure it out. But we'll close it off. Score prediction: UT versus Colorado State, 2:30 kick in Austin. Is it supposed to be hot or no?
No, it's not going to be too bad. It might rain. They say it's coming through, but it might be later on. But they say what it really might affect is the A&M game, because it's a night game, and they say
A&M don't have that running back. They have to make a switch.
I got somebody else.
Yeah,
like UT does.
Listen, I'm telling you, Notre Dame's winning that game, especially since it's Johnny Football making the pick at College Game Day. That's a curse to that.
He's a legend, bro.
That's a curse.
I can't believe you. That's no matter how much you don't like A&M, you say whatever.
He's not a celebrity. He's not a celebrity.
Please.
How's he not a celebrity? He's
a celebrity.
2012, he was.
He still is today.
Working at McDonald's.
He's playing golf, making money.
Do you think Dallas's kicker is good?
Yes. He's very good.
Bailey or whatever his name is?
Aubrey.
Oh, Aubrey, that's right.
Okay.
Yes. Get him.
Yeah, they'll be kicking a bunch of field goals. So
you see that pass to Travis Hunter just now?
I got a smile on you, big boy. I got that one.
That was a good one. I like that. Picked it. He picked it. There you go, North Dakota State. Let's go, Bison.
The end zone?
In the end zone.
Oh,
let's go, Bison.
You need to bring out your prime glasses someday.
I am. It's just hard for me. When I look at the screen, I can't see anything because they're, polarized or whatever. So my score prediction is 17 Colorado State, University of Texas 42.
I'm going Colorado State 14, University of Texas 35.
I think the spread is like 33.
32, 30.
Yeah, they're not covering 33.
52.
Hey, the one thing though, go ahead.
52-17.
See, and I could see something like that because that kid named Arch Manning is going to get in, and they're going to want to see him ball.
Oh, they're going to let him play.
They're going to let him.
And Trey Wisner is going to be back there with him, and he's going to want to run
Yeah.
people over.
The,
You're going to have
the
your other-
receivers.
the receivers
I mean,
are
they
going to
should.
change. Like, they're all going to keep playing.
I don't know what to expect from. I don't know. I don't
From
know.
who?
No. Kicker went right before my pick.
Don't know what to expect from what.
I'm saying like this year's team in general. Like it can go either way for me.
I've said it forever. It's all on Quinn and Sark.
It is, and that's how.
And I think Quinn is ready. Something about the way he's been talking and the way he's acting, like he seems cool, man.
I would like to believe so.
He seems cool.
We'll see, man.
Seems confident.
I'm excited. It's here, boys. It's freaking here. Let's go.
See y'all next week.
See you next week. Good luck. And if you're betting, big boy, you betting this week?
I got to bet on this game right now in North Dakota State.
That's right.
He's liking it. It's hot start to the year for big.
Right now I'm up 14, so let's go.
There you go.
Well, appreciate y'all tuning in this week to the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition. No Kobe this week. We didn't even get to answer if he was coming on or not. Whatever. Maybe he'll come for NFL next week. But anyways, we'll see you next week on the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition. Peace.